Whoa, 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 I know, you think I'm bonkers, etc. I know you do. But at the same time, I cannot deny that Deus Ex Human Revolution is just downright quality gaming. It's not quite as groundbreaking as Warren Spector's magnum opus, but then again, what is? But credit needs to be given to the developers for making one of the most atmospheric games of the year. On top of that, there's just something so satisfying about the impeccable level design and the plot the developers put into this. Though the boss fights are a bit pointless and the conversations could have been better synced, the plot itself is very solid and asks some important questions about transhumanism and human evolution. Is it really a good idea to mix man and machine? What does it mean to be truly human? Is it simply our cellular structure that makes us who we are, or is it something beyond that? Do humans play God by doing such things as human modification? There's quite a bit I can say about all of it, but it all ends with the fact that Deus Ex Human Revolution is an incredible title with some incredible stealth segments and just a bucket of fun from beginning to end. I'm aware that I've groaned about games being gray and dark before, but the reason that I groan about them is because a lot of the games out there like the Modern Warfare series really don't know how to do dark, manly action without coming across as pretentious. Gears of War doesn't have that problem. Packed to the gills with action, a solid story, great voice acting, and easily the best multiplayer of this year, Gears of War 3 is the most satisfying shooter out there that you can play this year. Not to mention, you have to love a game series that is able to keep a steady formula, but make it fresh each time you play as opposed to just having a copy and paste play style. I could go into depth about game mechanics, but we'd end up with a 20-minute video. At the end of the day, Gears of War 3 is an incredible game and a worthy end to what may be one of the most influential franchises on modern gaming. This is probably going to make me sound a little pretentious, but I think Dragon Age 2 is one of those games that went over the heads of a lot of people. I think the prime reason is everyone essentially expected more Origins, and because they didn't get it, they completely missed a gem of a game. On one hand, we got more Origins with Awakening, and on the other, I stand by an artist's right to try something new. Rather than giving us a sweeping epic that's best described as dark fantasy by Joss Whedon, Dragon Age 2 tells us a personal story. That story tackles subjects like family, racism, religion, oppression, religious extremism, and even terrorism, and to be quite honest, we don't see these subjects tackled in such a way in video games. Beyond that, it does a great job of making those topics a gray area by putting fully realized characters at the forefront of all of them. On top of that, something has to be said for an RPG that was able to be compelling from a combat perspective on a console and also maintain strategy, because Origins certainly was not able to do so. Boasting what I consider the best written story of the year, Dragon Age 2 is an incredible experience, and I know I say incredible experience a lot, but I have to emphasize it here. At the same time, I also stand by you, the gamer's right, to not play it just because you don't like it.
You know you fucked up, right?
Yeah, I've got a boxing game as my number 2 game of the year. What? I love combat sports. But beyond that, I think the EA Canada does not get any credit when it comes to talking about great fighting games. Everyone's always banging on and on about Mortal Kombat, or Tekken, or and because it's a boxing game, which boxing being a combat sport, i.e. fighting, nobody ever mentions it when it comes to fighting games. Well, guess what? Fight Night Champion is the best fighting game of 2011, and it's also the best sports game. When it comes to boxing mechanics, you're not going to find a game that's more true to life. The game not only includes a more grounded idea of how punches are actually thrown, the fact that the game properly utilized lateral movement and punch slipping makes it about as close to perfect as you're going to get. On top of that, the story mode in the game is fantastic. It's a little bit predictable, as most sports stories are, but it's a great look into the brutal world of boxing and exactly what it takes for someone to rise above and become champion. And my number one game of the year is... To be completely transparent with you, what makes someone or something the best at either craftsmanship or competition isn't so much the ability to make one great thing like story or graphics, but rather to implement many great elements into one coherent package with little to no weaknesses. Enter Batman. Arkham City gets my nod for Game of the Year simply because it has everything it takes to be the best. The story is great and breaks away from the comic book corniness of Arkham Asylum's down points. The soundtrack is one of the best I've ever heard, intelligently taking notes from Hans Zimmer's score for The Dark Knight. The combat is as good as one can ask for, being easy to learn but really hard to master. And it also has some amazing voice acting, and it wasn't just the Mark Hamill Kevin Conroy show. It's got great replayability, fun challenge maps, and it seems like every time you boot it up, there's just more and more fun to be had. Fight Night Champion is the one game this year that I personally reviewed that got a 10 from me. Had I been the one who had reviewed Arkham City, I would have given it the exact same score. Also, to close this one out, kudos to Rocksteady Games. In 2 outings, they scored not only 2 Game of the Year games, but easily 2 of the greatest video games of all time. Wow, I guess it did come out to being about 20 minutes long, didn't it? Oops! Don't worry, I'm not going to go back and start talking about video game mechanics. What I want to say about 2011 to close this one out is this is easily the best video gaming year since 2008 and may even surpass it. It's going to take about 1 or 2 years to really look back and see exactly the impact that both years had on the industry, but as it stands, we got a lot of great games this year. And with that said, I want to close this video out with some honorable mentions, along with, of course, the credits. Reason being, I know that I missed some things, and I know that sometimes when it comes to top 10 lists, you have to factor in personal taste, because I'm not perfect, even though I'd like to think I am. So, to end the year, I want to say Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to all of you guys who have visited Blistered Thumbs, commented, and become a part of our community. Just know that myself and the rest of the staff, we all love you very much. So, let's get the credits rolling.